Hi.
So hi Etienne, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Every day when we're talking about science is a great day.
Yeah, I know. It's a big day today, so we're going to talk about the Big Bang and how our choices are already made by the universe and
how the universe may actually be deterministic. You know, one solution from the start always equates to the same outcomes, right?
It's crazy, right? That like all of our choices are already like predefined by the what happened like 13.8 billion years ago. It's just like for me, it's just crazy to think that everything is just like people think that our choices are made by us and like our own state of mind. But you brought the idea that our choices are made by the Big Bang. So like I have so many questions for you.
Well, I mean, it's only a theory, right? Because Newtonian mechanics, they say that a system in a state always become another state, right? Like the actions and the forces, they're always the same, right? And they act on the electrons, the atoms, the persons, the objects the same way. So then it might come that my brain is the way it is because the way I was made, the way humans were made, and then you go back and then you come to the Big Bang and the original state of the universe might have affected our lives. And it's crazy. You know, I don't know if you get that. You know, it's
I have like I have the same idea that like like the Big Bang was once like a hot point in the universe. It was like a big compacted point. That kind of like expanded over time. We've learned in our classes that the universe expands over time. And for me, like I think that our choices are like predefined by the fact that well, you kind of talked about it earlier that all of our like choices and all of our atoms and like electrons, because in class we learned that life on Earth was caused by the excess of like protons and electrons by like a tiny factor, like maybe like 1 or like 2, which is crazy to think about it. And like how do you like describe the fact that everyone thinks that our choices are like predefined by our own state of mind? Like for example, like I go to class, it is my choice like to go or not to go.
Well, that depends on what you call agency, right? And what you think a free will is. And that's, I think we're not going to have the answer to that today because, I mean, nobody has, right? You have the theological example that free will is just free will, right? God gave us free will. I'm atheist, so I don't really believe in that, but it exists, right? But it kind of contradicts a system because, well, up until Max Planck and those guys, we thought that, you know, something happens, you know, it's causality, right? They cause each other, and the same thing cause every time, like the same thing, right? I'm not sure if that's really clear, but that works, right? So you get to a point where your free will, you think it's yours, right? Because the person you are, everything, it's you. You know, you're thinking, but that doesn't mean it's not determined. And that's where those two can coexist, because it's free will, because you're your own person making your own decision. It's just that those decisions were actually like predetermined. And if we knew the exact
the outcome?
Not the outcome, the original state of the universe, then with a powerful enough computer, which nobody has on Earth, you know, we could predict what somebody would do like 13 billion years after.
It's crazy to think, right? Because I used to think that like the trolley problem, like either you steer left or steer right. Yeah, I'm sure everyone's familiar with that. But it's true that our modern society kind of like thinks. Well, I think that I have like my own choices, and I think that like because it's hard to believe that like the universe kind of predicts yourself. Because there are so many humans on Earth, and you know, it's just, and there's like a battle between like religious people and atheists, you know, because there's like the idea that God gave like life on Earth, and there's like the idea of like the excessive matter. Sorry, and it's just like it kind of divides the population into halves.
Yeah, really.
So like when you come to like describing something, like it's just I feel like it's hard to really explain something to like people nowadays because you don't really know like what they like believe or like I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And I kind of relate that to math, right? Because in math, there's things called axioms, which is the least complicated assumption. So every set of axioms, well, you can come to different conclusions with them, and that's how we build math. You know, the book that has like 300 pages to prove that 1 + 1 is 2, right?
Yeah.
You've heard that. That's because they prove it from a set of axioms, and I think it's that with our decisions that we, as humans, we have assumptions, and we try to reduce them and like assume like what's most logical, and then we base our entire point of view from that. And it's just that for atheist people and for people that are more religious, even if they're not in an organized religion, just spiritual, I think those actions are very different, but they're not incompatible. You have to go and see what those accents they mean, what they produce, like outcomes.
That is crazy, right? Because we're only 18, like what 19, and we're learning like a lot of stuff in school. That kind of like my brain is like it's overwhelmed right now. Like, 'cause there's so many things to learn, and I feel like I know nothing. It's just because there's so many theories about like how like humans are and like like the psychological effects. Sorry, and I don't know. It's fascinating. Like the human being is just a complete different asset of like like there's the brain, there's like the how like even like just how it works and how you can like define what's, because for me I think that like every human on earth, like every single being has like this like its own perspective of the world, like 'cause you're alone in your brain. And it's crazy that like we all argued about like what's like the color blue, what's the color green, like but like it's just an assumptions, because I'm sure that like the blue of like the sky is not the same as like as you perceive it. Like it just, for me, the human being is just how can I say this, it's just like a fascinating being, like I said. It's just
yeah, definitely. And then you circle back from the fact that we came from that Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
And that it created such a complex thing. And we always talk about how it's improbable. That's one of the arguments for religious people, like that a complex being like the human that comes from like quarks and leptons and everything. That's crazy. That's crazy order, right? But the thing is that if we're talking about a deterministic universe where everything is set in stone, well then not only was like were human like probable, but they were possible, and they were always gonna appear. Our existence and our choices, they're not almost 0%, they're 100%. Everything we do happens, right? So, and that's really the duality of like what the science takes us and says, well, actually there's almost no chance that you're living and it's a miracle and it's random. But then if you think about it, then it also says that we were always going to live.
But so you're saying that we as humans created randomness? Like we created the fact that random things happen?
No, I don't think so. I think that randomness is something in the universe that exists. At least our interpretation of quantum mechanics says that there is randomness. So the universe is not completely deterministic. And over a lifetime, that does nothing, right?
Yeah.
But over 13 billion years ago,
like it does a thing.
Yeah, it does. And I think the universe has shifted from what it was originally going to be if there was no randomness. But I still think there's an ounce of things that are deterministic, right? Of course. But
so what if we could like predict like what is going to happen like in the future? Do you think that's possible?
Well, I think it'd be akin to predicting weather patterns, right?
Weather patterns,
Because you think about pressure, you think about humidity and everything. Because you're not gonna see if there's gonna be a storm until there's one, right? But you think about all the factors that influence a storm, and then you know if there is one, right? But the thing is that there's so many factors that the computing power is not there. There's no way. I don't think there's any way to predict, because you'd have to predict, like, you have to account for every atom in someone's body, and then every atom around them, and then anything that can affect those atoms. We are talking orders of magnitude beyond what we have. Even with the
it becomes complicated.
Yeah, it's a problem which has a solution, definitely, but I don't think we can find it. Even with those super quantum computers, which I'm going to work on, and it's going to be really great, I don't think it's in our lifetime. And I'm talking as a species.
Yeah. I have another question for you. You know, like over the past centuries, it's like they were like discoverers, like for instance, like Columbus, Isaac Newton, and all those kind of guys. Do you think that there's a limit for us, like, to discover? Do you think that we saw everything around us?
Well, now I don't think there's still a few holes in what we think, but I want to circle back to what we learned in class. Do you remember the ultraviolet catastrophe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when they thought as physics was complete. And then Max Planck and Schrödinger and all those guys, they came and they said, well, actually, energy is quantized. So then we saw that, and then we've been doing that ever since. That's the birth of modern physics, right? And there's so much to learn. And I think that maybe one point we're going to be there where physics, well, we can explain things, and then we're going to explain something, and then it's going to unlock a whole new area.
Yeah, because I feel like in our lifetime, because like science and physics like only occurred like in the maybe like 1500s, if I'm like wrong. Like it's kind of early in the lifetime of like the entire Earth. I don't know, but I know that the Greeks and like the Egyptians, they kind of like brought like a life of like letters and like math and all that. But do you think like the like in the 2000s, like the 21st century, that we're gonna have like someone that is gonna like discover like a new like way of seeing like the physics that we have?
I mean, I really don't know. I'm guessing it's possible, right? I'm guessing it's possible. A new interpretation that works better. I'm not sure it's gonna be new physics. But yeah, definitely, I think it's possible that someone's gonna like change the whole game, and just by the fact that we're still developing better tools to understand our world, because we're kind of limited, and we see that in the history of science, that when we want to observe something, we're limited to what we have. They wanted to observe this planet, well, they had only their eyes, so it's really hard. But now we have a lot of telescopes and everything. We want to observe atoms, well, we have electron microscopes, which work. But then you want to go with quarks and everything, and then it gets really tiny or really huge if you're talking about like distant planet. So then if we have more, especially on the smaller side, if we have more, I think that we're going to be able to actually understand more of the world. But I think there's an upper limit. Because you know about the Planck length, right? The smallest length in the universe. And I don't think we can see beyond that. Well, we're not close to it, but I don't think we can. So it'd be interesting to see.
So you're saying that one day we're gonna face a wall, and like there's no like, it's gonna be like our end. It's just gonna make it like a limit for us.
I mean, I think logically, and I'm not sure if the use of logic is coherent here, that there must be an end, right? There must be something in the universe. If we think about axioms again, something in the universe just has to be. There's something, a factor, or like a constant that is the smallest thing. Or else, I don't think, well, it could make sense, but it's incomprehensible. It's really weird to think that there's no smallest thing.
I heard a podcast about like that humans understand what has a start and what has an end.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about like the Big Bang, if I go back to that, nobody knows what came before the Big Bang, because like it's nothing, but what's nothing?
Yeah.
like a lot of people think of like nothing is black. It's just like nothing. But like, you know, like hypothetically speaking, if you're seeing like a blank space or like it's just like pitch black, like it's a thing, you know?
Yeah,
like
it's a thing, and the thing is that if you're, I think it's a bit weird to ask a question. I don't think it's a question that can be asked. What was before the Big Bang, in the sense that if there was nothing, and I mean, well, first there's no observer. So what's nothing if there's no observer? Because there's nothing, and the absence of something is something by itself, right? But I don't really believe that there was nothing. I think that time has always flowed, you know?
Yeah.
But before the Big Bang, I think, is the end of a new universe. You know?
So you think that there was like another kind of like life before
I
us?
think that since the beginning of everything, well, basically I don't think there was a beginning, but since anyway,
So
I think that the universe, a universe died because its expansion slowed, and everything came crashing together, and that's what we know about the Big Bang. And I think it's going to happen to our universe and the universe after that. I think it's interesting. I'm not sure which scientist said that. He called them eons, you know, life of a universe, and they're repeating. Imagine like a rubber band stretching and compacting. And he said that the universe was too low of entropy when it started. Matter was too organized when everything started. And I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not a physicist yet. That's really interesting because, you know, the universe tends toward disorder. So if it was a start, it should not have been that ordered, right?
No, you're right. But like it's hard to think that like there was like a thing before the Big Bang, you know? Because like I feel like I think that time is something that us like created because you know, like we just like the revolution of Earth, like that's like a day or like, you know. But like for me before the Big Bang, I think like there was just like I have like this image of like just nothing around it, but like no sound. It's like, you know, like you just when you go in a room and you try like to record like a sound or like I don't know, like a music video, it's just like there's no sound. Like it's empty. You know, like you're left alone. And I feel like we've came so far with like creations, like things that we like invented. And for me, like I think that there's so much more to like discover. And I feel like it's just a beginning of something. I don't know what, but like I think it's just like it's the starting point of like the new era, like something.
Yeah, and the thing is that what I think about a lot is that imagine the Big Bang, and if it really was nothing, then, you know, the people that ask the question, what was before the Big Bang? If there was nothing, I think that question itself cannot be asked because it doesn't make any sense. Imagine you're at the North Pole, or you're going there, and then you're gonna ask yourself, how do I go more north? Well, you go towards the North Pole, right? And then once you get there, you're gonna ask yourself that same question and say, how can I go like more north? And that question doesn't make any sense because there is no more north. There is nothing before, right? And you're thinking about like there's nothing physically to do to go more north because you're already at the most northern part of the earth. And I think that's kind of something because, you know, time is just a dimension, like the three physical dimensions. So the exact same thing, just that we perceive it differently, right? So then I think that's really like the most, like the start, and you can't go back. You can't ask yourself what was before because it doesn't make any sense.
So we just have to accept it and go forward.
Well, I think if that is true, then probably, but then we'd have to know if it's true. And then that's what's interesting in terms of science. And just, we have so many interpretations, and just finding out which one is more likely, well, that can be really interesting. And that can be like, that can reveal a lot of things.
We're gonna have to ask the aliens to answer that question.
It's crazy, but I think if we think about axioms, that may be one, or something, or like the Planck length, it can go. Or if we think about quantum mechanics, the fact that there's randomness. Why is there randomness in the position of the wave functions and everything? And then maybe we don't have the tech to understand it, or we don't have the knowledge, or maybe it just is.
Maybe one day we're gonna discover something that like your name's gonna be like Etienne in a textbook, and my kid's gonna read it. Gonna like discover the theory of the Big Bang. It's just.
Well, we'll see. I hope so. If I get to be in a textbook, I don't mind not winning the Nobel Prize. I just want to be in a textbook, right?
It's an achievement. It's something.
Really. I think if I'm gonna be a textbook, it's gonna be in a university, right? I don't think there's new science to discover at the high school level or the college level. I think that everything we're going forward with is gonna be like university and research level, unless we discover something really game-changing, like the origin of the universe, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm going to be the one to discover that.
But this question's been like around for so many years. It's just like everyone is so like intrigued about this question. It's just somebody has to like answer it, please.
Yeah, really, because we as humans, we see the world, and we talked about it as cause and effect, right? And that's the original cause and effect. Because why am I here? I'm here because of my parents, because I met. And why did they meet? Well, circumstances. And why are they there? Because their parents met. And then you can go back. Why do humans exist? Why does the earth exist? And then you get to a point where, well, why does the universe exist? And that's interesting, because we don't have the answer. And there's another type of cause and effect, and I just saw this on a podcast also recently, that here we're talking about linear cause and effect in time. But there's a cause and effect that is also in one space, in one time reference. Imagine I'm holding my drive, right? Why is it there? Because my hand is holding it. And why is my hand there? Because my arm is holding it. And why is my arm there? Well, it's on the table. And then you go, and that's another type of cause and effect, but it's one singular moment, right? And I think it's really interesting as well, because we think it's a question that we as humans ask ourselves also. You know, that's how we got to discover atoms and electrons and quarks and everything, right? And, you know, the birth of string theory and that type of thing. That's because, you know, that type of cause and effect. So we kind of break down how humans think about the world, right?
No, you're right. And I don't know how to explain it, but like for me, like, you know, in biology we learn all about like the cell and how like it works, like you know, like the cytoskeleton, like the little bridges, like the roads in your cell. And for me, like, it's just like we came so far from nothing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even if you think about one cell, which we aren't, right? One cell is so incredibly complex.
I know.
Right? Like unicellular organisms, they're crazy. And just to think that we have like million times that potential. I'm not sure the amount of cell in the human body, but I'm sure it's huge, right?
It has to be. It has to be.
So like, yeah. But when we think about that, and it amazes me, it's just that sometimes we fail to consider the amount of time it took and the amount of failed humans or failed organisms.
What do you mean by
that it took? Well, if we think about evolution as a whole, well, there's two principles that drive evolution. It's the law of best fit. Basically, I'm not sure how they call it. It's just that if someone is better adapted to their environment,
if that fits you,
then you're gonna have more chance in living and reproducing. And you have mutations, and that's the two concepts that drive evolution, because mutations introduce new characteristics that may be useful, but lots of the times they're so bad that it just kills the organism, right? So when I'm talking about failed organisms, it's the ones that couldn't even make it because of mutations, and then the one that couldn't reproduce because that never came to be, right? And we're the result of so many. And
So
Yeah.
you matter, you know, like the I don't know, like the guy who's up there, I don't know who, but you know, like he predicted you, you know, like the Big Bang kind of like determined your life.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just like as a whole, if you take like a few steps back, we're here for a reason, you know, like we have to like do a purpose. I don't know, like do you believe that we're here for a reason?
I'm not sure about a reason, but I think that we're here, and just the fact that we're here is crazy. And you know, I always tend to be on the side that this moment right now, if you multiply the odds of it happening by the largest number you can think of and then round, it's 0. And we talked about that, then we can go like, the thing is that it's so unlikely that we're here. So I'm not sure if it's for a reason. I'm not a destiny kind of guy.
Yeah.
But we're here, and just that fact it's crazy, and we have to do something about it. And I think that when we die, nothing, you know, when I die, nothing's gonna happen to me. I don't believe that. I think that I'm gonna just return to be energy and atoms and everything. And then, well, the only part of me that's gonna be there is what people remember of me, right? But that's gonna die too. Because the people that remembered me, they're gonna die. And the people that remembered them, they're gonna die, and everything. So the thing is that while we're here, which is not gonna be long in the grand scheme of things, we have to do the most amount of actions that's going to just ripple through time, you know. And I think that's the reason we're there, to just, and those actions usually they come in good, you know. If we want to go that whole morality route, and why there is morality, I think, is that in a selfish manner, I want to exist after my death, right? So the only way and the best way I can is just to spread around and impact as many people as we can, right? And then those people, they're gonna impact people, and well, that's just gonna ripple. And maybe just my actions, well, gonna affect somebody down like 300 years from now.
It's crazy, right? Because like all your actions that you did today might affect someone like later. Like if I like circle to the text we learned in like your humanities class, that the wolves were dying, and then you know like all the rivers, the floods, all that.
The Yellowstone? I'm not sure which.
Not really sure, but for me, it's crazy that we're all related to like another, no matter what. It's just like and it kind of like the string theory, you know, like we're just like all connected, but like no one really knows. For me, it's crazy. It's just like there's so many things that like it's unknown to us, and I feel like there's so many more to discover.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It's just we know the universe is vast, and but we don't understand how vast it is and how incomprehensible it is. And that's when you start studying science, I think that's the takeaway you have, that this is crazy, and we're so bigger than we thought as humans, and we're so smaller than we thought, like, as well. Because actually, if you know, they did the math on it, is that as humans, our scale, we're closer to the observable universe, to electrons.
You're right.
We're closer to the biggest thing in the universe. And that's crazy, because we know how big the universe is, right? And it just puts you into perspective. It's almost sickening, right? It's almost like, and I saw this a few weeks ago, I think, and somebody said that the reason, and I'm gonna get a bit harsh there, we don't matter, right? Because the universe is gonna die, is gonna live no matter what. Even if our whole species united and did something, the universe, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that just because we don't matter, as in the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean, well, it makes the life matter for us, right?
No, you're right.
Because you know, we give it meaning.
Right. So I feel like based, like if I like do a summary of like all you said, I feel like we created life like within us, you know, like we created what's normal, and what's like morality. We created like what's good, what's bad, because like everything that I just said is like it happens in your mind.
Yeah.
And you know, like if somebody's crazy or not, it's just like it's based on like the summation of like the principles of life.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know if it makes sense, but I feel like nobody really knows what's going on, and we're just like it's a big hypothesis. I feel like.
Yeah, and you go around and you live life with your perspective of it, right? And you don't know if it's true, and your own experiences they affect you. And what's interesting, so there's an author which you actually read. It's a French author, Bernard Werber. He said, and there's a quote I think I'm going to translate very roughly. There's in communication, there's 7 points of failure. There's what I think that can fail and I can misinterpret it. How I understand what I think. I'm not sure which. Maybe I'm freestyling a bit. And then what I say, what I meant to say, what you hear, what you want to hear, and what you want to and what you understand. And those are very different things. And that kind of go for consciousness as well. Is that life? We defined what life is. Mm-hmm. We saw ourselves and said, okay, this is what life is, and we kind of define it as what we want and what makes us alive, and not rocks. You know, it's just the way we defined it, and it's based on. So yeah, I think that we were giving the capacity for life because of the universe, the capacity to define it, but we defined it, and as long as we continue to define it, and I think the definition are always changing, right? Well, that's what life is. I think that's really crazy, and it's, you know, if there's aliens out there, which there probably is, right? They probably have their own definition of life, and it may not coincide with what we think. And maybe they're gonna come here and say, well, nothing is living there.
But we're trying so hard to like really talk to like the other like aliens or whatever, because like the NASA really wants to like give a footprint of us, you know, like they want to like tell the world that like we are here. And I feel like if we discover like another part of life, like another like species out there, I feel like the world is like, well, us like humans is just gonna be like
it's gonna redefine a lot of things.
Yeah, it's gonna like be like we're gonna have like a lot of questions, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because definitely. And then you go on to say like, well, what if there was something alive? It's just that it does not fit our description, and we've missed it. I don't think we've missed anything yet because we've explored so little, right? And we've, you know, it's just the universe is so big that I don't think we've found anything yet, and you know, it's real. I don't know how to say this.
No, but
unlikely,
I get what you're saying. It's just there's so many things, you know. Like if I'm I'm thinking about the sea right now. You know, like we only discovered like I don't know, like 7.3% of like the overall sea. Yeah. So there's like more than like 80% left. Mm-hmm. Like what's down there?
Yeah,
like really, what's down there?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I think it's exactly the same for the universe, but it's so much smaller, right? So then we go and it's like, is our definition correct? Like, does it make sense? And there's all these things. It's like everything we know about the universe is tailored to our point of view as humans and as individual as well. And that's kind of, what if our point of view was totally wrong and everything we knew was wrong? You know, that's a possibility as well. And that's, you know, what the concept of an observer is. Because, you know, what if we're observing wrong with a filter in our heads?
It kind of sums up like all the theory, you know.
Yeah, everything we've talked.
Like because for me, when like I was learning quantum mechanics with you, I still think that like the actions of observing something kind of like it forces like the object or whatever like to be there, you know. Like if like I'm observing, like I don't know, like for example, like the phone over there, like it forces like me to think that the phone is there. I don't know, like it just, and the idea of like superposition is just, I don't know, it's crazy to me, like to just think about that.
Yeah, and then with quantum mechanics, we go, and then what if everything is so confusing? Not because there's much more to learn, but because our viewpoint is wrong. What if we observe the universe in a certain manner that makes our viewpoint just not work with what quantum mechanics is, because we've ignored it, and well, not ignored, but we didn't know about it for such a long time, and then we defined ourselves that way, and the questions we ask are just wrong for quantum mechanics, and it doesn't work.
So if you're living, you have a consciousness, you are wrong. Everyone is wrong.
Well, that may be something, but and then you go to the cliche of what philosophy is. Well, I'm not there, I don't know anything, and that's kind of where we could be. And it's very cliche to me to say that, and nobody has the answer because we're bound to our consciousness. The only way to verify our consciousness is using our consciousness. We cannot, you cannot confirm with somebody else, because if you confirm with somebody else, well, you have to hear them, you have to see them, and we're just bound to what we have. And I don't think we can, I think that's the limitations of what we are as a species, right? So yeah, it's definitely crazy, and I don't like to think about those questions very much, because I think it's, well, not useless, but I'm not sure I'm gonna find an answer.
Would there be like any answers for that? I don't know. Like nobody knows. I feel like, and it's just like sometimes I feel like it's a good like idea to really think about like what's around us and really like, or the origin point of us and like what's going on like around like our environment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we have to be like empathetic to like everybody. I feel like, because everyone is like different to like like the way you act, the way you think, the way like you, I don't know, like there's so many things that differs us from like one another. And I don't know, I think that like this sums up like the
I think that we came from very different viewpoints, and the questions we have, they're all for the same reason, and that we as humans, we want to know something in a certain way because the universe, we see it that way, and well, sometimes it doesn't work, or sometimes we don't have the knowledge to make it work. And I think that, like, we're talking about quantum physics and the Big Bang, human psychology and everything, and I always have this belief that everything comes from every subject, everything you can learn is just another way of looking at the same thing, and it's philosophy, right? I think that math is what's closest to philosophy, because you're thinking about those really abstract questions and everything, and it's just quantifying the way we think. And then math is really physics is just really math, right? Because it's all math but interpreted into a physical sense. And then you go, well, what's physics on a larger scale with more atoms? That's chemistry, right? And then you go, that's biology. And then biology, then we have the sociology, thinking about humans, and then you have anthropology about our species and everything. And I think everything leads back to the questions we ask in philosophy. And yeah, I think that it's really good way to summarize every question, everything.
So do you want to end on that?
I think it's pretty good.
Everything's related.
Everything's gonna work out, I think. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.